Hello everyone and welcome back to the chaos. Today I am going to be making pumpkin rolls, and not just one or two, I am making at least 20. This will be an all-day project for me, but what I do is I make them, and then local people do buy them from me. It started because everybody just raved over my pumpkin rolls when I was making them. So we started selling them at Thanksgiving, and now every year but I make anywhere between 20 and 30 pumpkin rolls. So I have everything set up. It is a big, long process to do the pumpkin rolls and then letting them cool, because I do not cool them in a refrigerator. Some people do, I do not, because then I cannot tell if they're cooled too much. So what I have found is if they're still too warm, they will crack. If they cool too much, they will crack. So I always have a few that crack. But I can normally get it so that they don't crack when I roll them. So what you didn't see is me getting everything set up, because that took like 15 minutes in itself. But on the counter, I have everything set up. So what I do is I get the measuring cup that I need for my ingredients, or measuring spoons, and I get it all set up. That way I don't have to think about what I'm doing. I can just grab the measuring cup and go. So it's like a big assembly line for me, and nobody can bother me when doing it, because, well, I'm in my own world when I do this. So I will post my recipe in the comments, and I will also post a link to our video for homemade pumpkin puree. So we, last year at Halloween, Walmart had a bunch of pumpkins left over, so they got marked down to $1. This year we were not fortunate to get that deal again. They ran out of pumpkins. But last year we had like 20 pumpkins, and we have a room in the basement. We call it the dirt room, but that's where we were storing them until we could get to them to puree them. And so we pureed them, put them in Ziploc bags, and put them in the freezer. And this one is good for 10 pumpkin rolls. We measured them out because I would need to know how many I would be making, right? So I have my cinnamon in a little bowl, because I will lose my measuring spoon in the big container that we have. And this is our baking soda that we have. We have flour here, we have sugar back here, and I have my first bag of pumpkin over here. And what I do is I crack the eggs into a bowl. That way I don't have to worry about the eggshells. If any get in there, it's all contained in here. I don't have to dig it out of the big bowls for the mixers. So I have my whole egg set up over here on this table, and the pan's ready for pouring the mixture into to be able to bake. So now I'm going to get started, and I will go through it once with you, and then I can speed it up a little bit. So first, so my pumpkin roll recipe, if you use canned pumpkin, if you do the 29-ounce cans, they will make 5 pumpkin rolls. So I always make 5 at least because of that. Now with us using the puree, I can just make however many I need. But so first things first is 3 eggs, and I need 3 for each bowl. And I am not crazy messy when I do these. It gets messy when I have to start flipping onto the towel to roll them. And that's because you need to use the powdered sugar, and it just kind of flies everywhere. So that is when it gets messy. This part isn't too insanely messy. So all right, so another little piece. That one was easy, it was on the egg yolk. All right, so 3 eggs in each bowl. Now, I will make 1 roll at a time. I do not make multiple and then split the dough. I just find it easier for me because I get in a routine. You may find it easier to do it and split it. It's all on preference. I prefer 1 at a time. So I have the oven preheated to 375. The eggs have to be beat for 5 minutes. I don't normally beat them for 5 minutes. I just kind of do my own thing. Nobody complains, so there you have it. So I will just turn these on. So while that is going, I normally get more eggs ready for the next batch, and that is just so I am ready to just keep moving and I don't have to worry about any lag time, and that's how I get through them quicker. So while these are beating, you are supposed to slowly add in the sugar and the pumpkin. I don't have to think so much after I do it once. But I don't know what that sound was. So as these are going, I will add in the sugar and the pumpkin into the mixers. So one cup of sugar gets mixed in. I do pour it slowly, that's just so it can mix as it's going. Don't do it all at once, just so it mixes properly. And then 2/3 cup pumpkin. Recipe calls for canned pumpkin, like I said. Last year I made it with the puree pumpkin, and everybody still raved over them. This I will just dump in. And then you just let that stir up. And then you have to add the flour, cinnamon, and baking soda. So I'm gonna wash my hands. I got pumpkin all over them. The color. All right, so 3/4 cup flour, and I will shut them off again to dump it in, just because it's easier to dump it in, right? 3/4 cup in this one. It's funny because I get in such a routine sometimes that I forget what step I'm on if they're not in sync with each other. So I try to keep them together. That doesn't always work as I get further down the road because I am putting them in the oven and they get out of sync with each other. So I am just adding a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon and a teaspoon of baking soda into each one, and then I just use a spatula and I scrape the sides. I also don't like baking them at the same time. They only bake for 15 minutes, and so it doesn't take long for them. But I don't like baking them at the same time because each shelf bakes differently. I have done 2 at the same time, and they do get on different times, and that's how I get out of sync. Doing this many, I do bake 2 at the same time, but it also makes it harder because I have 2 trays that I like to use, and they're the same size, and we don't have any more of those ones. I might invest in more just so I can have them. But if they are on different, then I can keep going and constantly have one in there and constantly be mixing, and everything just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes all day long. So once I get them all baked, then we let them sit and cool, and then tonight we will mix up the filling to go in it, and I use a cream cheese filling. I don't use Cool Whip or icing. I use the cream cheese and never had any complaints. Like I said, everybody loves them. So I will mix all that up with 2 again, and then I will have my dad help me wrap them. I do the filling and roll it, and then he wraps them for me, because otherwise it would take like twice as long, and he's gotten pretty good at wrapping them. So I'm going to finish these up in here, and then I will show you how I get them into the pan to bake them. So coming over here, we have, this is where I have all my eggs. These are the pans that I use. They are a decent size. I don't know how big they are, but I like them. and you just use parchment paper, and I'm going to go down and get different spray, but for now I'm just going to use this here. You have to spray or butter the pan, and it's just so nothing sticks. See what? And then you have parchment paper. And if you have an issue with your parchment paper rolling when you use it, crinkle it. If you crinkle it, it'll stay open. I don't know if that's cut right. It's ain't cut right. Crinkle it. And then you spray again. And flour again. And that is just so everything comes right off and it doesn't stick to it. So now we can pull one of these bowls off and get that in the oven, and then I'll get the other one ready. So whenever I pull the bowls off of the mixers, I get a paper towel and I put it underneath where the bowl sits. That way, if the mixer drips, it's on the paper towel, less of a mess I have to clean up. And it's the little pieces, and I just fold it in half and then just set it there. So this is what it looks like. And then we just dump it into the pan. So this is when I would have eggs ready, which I didn't get ready, but I would have eggs ready. I would dump them in, put it back on, and turn the mixer on. That way they could already start beating. And that's how I keep the process going constantly. That way I don't get behind and don't literally take all day, even though it really does take all day. Then you just spread the mixture out. I rinse my hands a lot. I always have a towel or two or more to dry my hands because they get wet, soapful wet. So this is what my pan looks like. It is not pretty, but this is what the mixture looks like on the pan. Now there is sometimes some thin spots. It's fine because it cooks fine. So then this just goes in the oven for about 15 minutes. Normally it's spot on. I always check it every year just to make sure. So over here is the oven. And you put this in. Set the timer. So it is 9 a.m. right now. I have been at this for about 25 minutes already. Let's see how long it takes us. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on the other ones. this is the spray that I like to use, the aerosol spray, when I'm spraying the pans and the parchment paper, just because it makes it much quicker. So we have these towels here. We got them on sale one year at Walmart for like 25 cents, I think. They are thin, they're not fuzzy, they are perfect for pumpkin rolls. We have a whole container up here. Right there, you can almost see it. And they are only used for pumpkin rolls. They are our pumpkin roll towels. We don't use them for anything else. We wash them, fold them, put them in a container, and that is where they sit until we use them for pumpkin rolls again. So now I'm going to show you, there is about 6 minutes left for the first one that I put in. And I'm going to show you how to prepare your towel. So you're going to take your towel, and I'm going to do it on this table here. Normally I don't have so much going on over here. But I do. So just lay out the towel, and this is powdered sugar, and you're going to take the powdered sugar and just sprinkle it over the towel. Doesn't have to be perfect. Now, some people, they put walnuts in their pumpkin rolls. I do not. I prefer them without walnuts. Some people prefer them with, but we only make them without walnuts. So there you have it. I guess if you don't give a choice, they don't have a choice, right? Makes it easier for me than, you know, especially, I mean, I don't know if anybody that buys them has a, you know, an allergy or anything, but I don't have to worry about it then. So this is ready, and you have to do that while it's in there, because once it comes out of there, out of the oven, you have to immediately flip it right over onto the towel. And you have to roll it while it is warm. So they have about 7 minutes in between the first one and the second one, which gives me enough time to prepare and make more and everything else. So I'm gonna start making more. All right, so I'm gonna flip the camera here. Ooh. So this is what it looks like. If you touch it, it'll spring back up, which this does very nicely. So now I'm just going to flip it over onto the towel. And I just tuck the sides down of the paper and just flip it over. And it should come right off. It is rare when it does not. And then, after you flip it over, you just take it and roll it up. And then just set it off to the side. I normally load up my mom's table with them all. And then we have about 6 minutes left for the other one. And we can probably get another one in there. I will reuse the parchment paper a couple of times. You still have to spray and put the flour on. After a few times, then it kind of starts getting the dough stuck to it. So I don't keep using it through all of them. But I will use it a few times just to help save on the parchment paper. So we have it again. Dump it out. And then this one is ready to go in the oven. And then get the next top ready. I'm back, and so for the final count today is 17 pumpkin rolls because I ran out of eggs. So my mom is picking up more eggs at work today, and I'm going to show you one of the pumpkin rolls is just about to come out of the oven, and I'm going to show you how I flip it and prepare and everything. So this is one of the towels. I have it covered with powdered sugar, and I'm just going to take this, flip it over, roll it up, and then as you can see, the powdered sugar kind of goes everywhere. And then we just fold the towel over and then just roll it up. This is all it is. And then I just put it on the table. And then I have one more pumpkin roll to put in. So while I'm waiting for the other one to come out of the oven, I throw this down here. And just prepare that again. This is flour. I'm just going to flip this one over then and roll it up. This is why I can't have anybody helping me, because I have a whole system. I don't really have a ton of downtime. And there we have it for the day. Later today, I will be back and I will prepare the filling for you. And we will get all that on video for you so you can see how we do it. So my last roll is out. It is 11:44. So almost 3 hours to do, well, over 3 hours to do 17 pumpkin rolls. This is where they all are. Normally this table is full and they're touching. I am trying to get it so that they are cooling down a little bit quicker. So I'm trying to keep them apart. So now I'm going to clean up my mess and start working on getting the ingredients for the filling and making sure that I have everything I need for that. So I will be back later, and this is my mess of my table. And this is the counter. Counter's not too bad. I didn't wipe it off or anything yet. So when I say this is the messy part, that's really the messy part of doing this. So just prepare yourself for that. But anyway, I am going to continue on with my day and try and get ingredients put together for the filling, and we will be back later to show you that. Hello, I am back. We are working on the filling for the pumpkin rolls, and all you need for the filling is a teaspoon of vanilla, a block, 8 ounces of cream cheese, a cup of powdered sugar, and a 1/4 cup of butter softened. So we are mixing 2 batches up here, and moving to the table to put the filling in. Scrape down the sides just to make sure all the powdered sugar is mixed in. And then I just transfer it to a bowl so we can keep making icing and not have to wait while I'm icing the pumpkin rolls. So there it is in the bowl. And then we're going to come over here to the table. Unroll them, slather it on. And then after it's all covered, I take it all the way to the edge. You just start rolling it. I do use the towel to help roll it just because it does stick to the towel a little bit, so this is allowing me to get it not stuck anymore. And there you have it. Here is my pumpkin roll. This is what they all look like. Not one of them have cracked. So that's all we have for today. I hope you enjoyed. Here's Tina. Ed was helping with the icing. Haley was helping with the icing a little bit. And it was a group effort for the filling because it's a lot for one person. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you have a great night. Come back for more chaos.